When an 18-year-old goes missing in Colorado, the clock starts ticking. But for years, there's been a gray zone, a gap in our laws that treat college students as adults who simply chose to leave rather than individuals in danger. This week, that is finally changing. Welcome back, guys. I'm Carrie.
I'm Mawmaw.
And normally you only get one episode on Monday. But if you could not tell by the title, we have an update from 2 weeks ago. I believe we discussed this. And so we couldn't wait for next week, and I didn't want to include it into your normal episode. So you're getting a bonus update. So today is Monday, March 16th, and we are keeping an eye and tracking a major breakthrough at the state capitol of Colorado. So if you've been following our coverage of Megan Trussell, you know that her family, along with Kaylee Russell, which is on my long list of cases to cover, have been walking the halls of legislation fighting for a voice, and their efforts have officially culminated in Senate Bill 120, better known as the Megan Alert. And as of the 13th, the momentum behind this bill is unlike almost anything else that we have seen this session. So, to understand why these families are fighting so hard, you have to look at the stories of the daughters that they lost. If you did not listen to our four-part deep dive into Megan Trussell, I suggest that you do that. But as a recap for those who have already listened to it, Megan Trussell was only 18. She was a freshman at CU Boulder. One night, she walked out of her dorm, which would be February of last year, and she never came back. It took 3 days for a formal missing person report to really gain traction. And by the time she was found in Boulder Canyon, that golden window for a rescue had long since closed. Then there is Kaylee Russell. She was a hardworking 20-year-old from Evans. In late 2025, she was heading home after her father had helped her change a flat tire at a park and ride, and she vanished into the night.
Damn.
Because she was an adult, there was no immediate coordinated alert, no sense of urgency from the system until her car was found submerged in a canal days later. For both families, the gray zone of the law meant they were left searching on their own while the system waited for a clock to run down. Now, in case you missed it, this conversation, like I said, actually started on February 9th during a high profile hearing for the red flag expansion. During that testimony, the families of Megan and Kaylee shared their stories, linking the need for crisis intervention with the desperate need for better missing person protocols. The Megan Alert emerged from that hearing as a rare point of total conscience. It was then separated into its own bill and has since been on a legislative fast track. So, to understand why this bill is moving so fast, we're going to look at what happened behind those scenes. So, first, there was a fiscal note factor. Initially, there was concern about the cost of upgrading state crime systems, but a deal was struck to create a grant fund so that smaller rural campus departments, places like Western Colorado or Adams State, could afford the software needed to meet the new 6-hour mandate without draining their local budgets. So that means that these smaller colleges who don't have the budget, like CU Boulder, is going to be able to get the same technology.
Mm,
Then there was the law enforcement buy in. So, to get the chief of police on board, sponsors added a good faith clause. It protects officers and campus staff from liability as long as they initiate the check within that 6-hour window.
that's because Boulder is lazy.
Yep. So, as long as they initiate it within 6 hours, they are not held liable for anything. But if they fail to initiate it in those 6 hours, they are held liable for anything that happens after.
Just lazy.
So this change turned Republican no votes into yes votes this last Friday. Finally, there is the status based exemption. This is the legal heart of this bill. It acknowledges that a student in university housing has a different expectation of check in than a standard adult does. This legally clears the path for faster wellness checks. So, this is basically saying that, yeah, they're an adult, but they are in college.
They're still somebody's children.
Right. And the fact that they're in college, although they might be, 19, 20 years old, the expectations for them to check in with friends or family is completely different than what it would be for any other adult. So, like me or you. So, now why is this 6 hours the magic number? Why not 10 or 12? Why is it 6? The data is sobering. So, national search and rescue statistics show that in cases of foul play or crisis, the first 12 to 24 hours is that golden window. After 24 hours, the probability of a safe recovery drops by nearly 50%. By mandating a 6-hour check, Colorado is effectively doubling the chances of a positive outcome. So when a person is reported missing, they have 6 hours to do a wellness check. And just to be clear, this doesn't mean that a school sits on their hands for 6 hours. Okay. That means they have to check. They have to check the dorm or their class or wherever it is that they normally are. Then, if there is proof of a struggle or immediate danger, the Megan alert forces them to call 911 immediately. They are not allowed to just sit and wait. So now today, March 16th, they will vote again. But is it the final step? Not just yet. So today, as you guys are listening to this, 10 a.m., the Senate convenes in the Senate chamber on the second floor of the Capitol for the third reading of this bill. If it passes, which I fully expect it to, the Senate has officially passed the baton to the House of Representatives. To become a law, the bill then will go through this entire process again in the House. So this team includes Representative Brandy Bradley, Yara Zokai, I think is how you say that. That cross ally partnership because they are one is Republican, one's Democrat.
Right.
So this cross ally partnership is the secret sauce that might just get this bill signed by the governor before May. Then finally, a note on the legacy of this legislation. Okay, so once it passes House, it then can go to the governor, and that's where the governor signs it.
Right.
Then it'll officially be a law. And then hopefully, maybe it'll become a federal alert and not just an alert in Colorado. That's the hope here. So, finally, a note on the legacy of this legislation. While we often see the Gold Dome as a place of partisan gridlock, SB 26120, which is the law of Megan Alert, is a reminder of what happens when grief is turned into policy. The Trussell and Russell families didn't just ask for a law, they provided the blueprint for a new national standard.
And it should be. I mean, those kids, a lot of them are out on their own for the first time.
Right. And there's colleges all over the place. There are young college students just like Megan and Kaylee everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
This Megan alert should be national, not just state. And hopefully that will follow this soon. So, Colorado is now the first state in the country to mandate this 6-hour response for higher education. There is
It should be.
there is no other state that has a 6-hour mandate. And it took 2 tragedies. Actually, it took more than that, to be honest, but it took 2 families that faced the same tragedy that millions of families face
Every day.
in order for this to become real in just 1 state. So, we'll be watching for any other states that follow Colorado's lead. I'll be keeping an eye out, for any new updates that come out, and we will drop those in your feed as they come out in little bonus episodes. So make sure you stay with us, keep an eye on that. We will hopefully have the final Senate tally date once that comes out. I will post that on our Facebook. for anyone that is on social media and follows us there. If not, we will have a bonus episode, um, once to go over all those things within the next couple weeks. So
and that's
that
just crazy.
right. Hopefully hopefully it goes the way that I mean, I think it's gonna go since they made those changes, it became a full vote yes. There were 0 no votes.
Well, a lot of those senators and whatever, a lot of them have college age kids.
Right, or some of them have grandchildren that are in college, like, this is a real thing that could affect anyone.
That's right. Doesn't matter what your social status is,
No, it does not. Tragedy strikes where tragedy is gonna strike.
unfortunately.
Yep. So that is it for this bonus, guys. Keep your eye out on socials. I will post that information there, and then we will get back with you with another bonus once we have new updates on this one. So that is it, guys, and we will talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.